Yes, I mean, the freedom of speech issue you're talking about is very largely a product of the white liberal establishment. And it really must be emphasized that there are a lot of Muslims in Britain who really just want to live in peace and harmony and enjoy Western human rights, and they themselves are being sold down the river and betrayed by this liberal establishment for whom a whole set of issues are completely unsayable. I mean, let's park Islam for a moment. My journey over the last 2 decades was punctuated by saying the unsayable, first of all on education, daring to say that something was going very badly wrong with what's going on in our schools, that children were no longer being taught anything, that they were being given a kind of propaganda instead, that they were being allowed to sort of find their own way through the world, i.e. not learn anything. That was my first heresy. Yeah. Couldn't say that. It was all supposedly the fault of the then Conservative government. Then I went into family breakdown, and I observed that family breakdown was a disadvantage, a tragedy for people when it happened, something best avoided if possible, but no, family breakdown was not to be considered to be in any sense a disadvantage. On the contrary, it was every woman's God-given right to bear a child without a father on board. I was pointing out the overwhelming evidence that, relatively speaking, that caused children to suffer a wide variety of disadvantage. I couldn't point out that evidence. I was vilified as an Old Testament fundamentalist. On I plowed into multiculturalism, into man-made global warming theory, then into Islamization, and all kinds of other issues where, as you say, only one story could be told. And it's a story which upholds the view of the left. It never used to be the view of the left. In the 19th century, when the left famously owed more to Methodism than to Marx, the left was really a moral project. It was rooted in biblical morality. It believed in the difference between right and wrong. It believed in discriminating between good behavior and bad behavior, between behavior that would advance society and make people progress, and behavior that would hold people back and cause harm. That, to me, is a truly progressive point of view. But the left then changed and became enthralled to what I would call a kind of cultural creeping Marxism, which basically said that everything the West did was wrong and everything the Third World did was right, that you could not say that any society or culture should take precedence over any other, which meant inescapably you could not uphold liberal ideas of equality and human rights and freedom of speech and all the rest of it over societies and cultures which did not uphold those things. You couldn't do it. And consequently, it seemed to me that this prevalent left-wing thinking, which became the default position of the British establishment, its ruling class, its media, its cultural class, its intelligentsia, its universities, it meant that that establishment was basically saying, because we will not discriminate, because all discrimination is wrong and racist and oppressive and all the rest of it, it meant that the people ruling Britain would no longer uphold core British and Western values of equality, of liberty, of decency. Yes.